on.
And we're recording. So as we start, Ashley was right about the giraffe over the gorilla. So number one, we'll give you that.
All right, but I do have, along with that, I do have to apologize for something because I stated something as fact that was, in fact, not fact, and that is that more priests have committed something
because we don't know.
Because there's no way to quantify it.
Yes,
I will.
We don't want to paint with a broad brush.
Yes, I'm not. I don't want to paint anything with a broad brush. So I'm apologizing for misspeaking and stating that's fact. However, I constantly speak word vomit, and I can't always apologize. So if there's something that people find offensive, here's a broad stroke. I apologize that you are offended. However, I can't apologize for everything.
No, absolutely, and that's totally cool. So, also, we would like to thank our friends at Hawbrick Enterprises who wanted us to sample some of their products today. We have the new Modelo Oro, which is basically the Modelo version of Mich Ultra, and it's quite good. And then some Simply Spiked Lemonade.
This blueberry one's fantastic.
Yes, Ashley's doing the blueberry, and Frankie and I are doing the Modelo Oro. So, good stuff.
It's good.
Hi, Frankie.
Hi.
I feel like we just kind of started it without you, but
no, we're just diving in.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
It's all good.
But the April thing. Let's get back to that for a second. I'm really sad you guys aren't wearing
You're right.
dresses.
I was not going to wear a dress, but I admit you were right.
So there were 232 million views on April the giraffe, who was set to give birth to this giraffe, and the zoo put up this live stream, and it was like the first live stream of its kind, and it blew every other viral video out of the water.
Yes.
Which, last April or many Aprils ago?
No, it's April the giraffe. I don't know when it was, but it was April the giraffe.
2017 or 2018.
See, I didn't know the name of the giraffe.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this giraffe story.
Well, you'll have to Google
The most popular
I Googled it when we were trying to determine who was right, and we were wrong. I freely admit I'm wrong. So sometimes you got to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about that, but that may be right. You don't know.
Okay. Sure. Okay. If that's the story you want to stick to, that's okay. So, but no, it's again with just everything going on this week. You guys spent, as we record this on Thursday, you'll see this Friday morning. But Ashley and the rest of the team spent some time at the Cold Food Show today. And how incredible is it that an organization 150 years old, Kohl's Wholesale.
Wow,
it's amazing.
The 5th generation Earhart is the current president, and to see just like this dynasty almost, I guess, if you will, is incredible. And all the people, and you walk around, you see so many familiar faces that work for Kohl's. So not only is it great for, of course, the community, because Kohl Wholesale is an amazing company, but they employ so many people. And even this food show alone brings so many people from around the area and even other sides of the country. Yeah. That
fills hotel rooms, all that stuff.
So it really is just a great thing. And they said today alone, they think they saw close to 1,500 people come through there. So it was outstanding.
It is, and they do a great job. Of course, they're one of our sponsors, and we appreciate their support. But we really appreciate what they've done for the entire community by providing jobs for 150 years. I mean, again, it's that's pretty impressive. They've got the nice new facility out there on South on 57, and modern, state of the art, all that good stuff. And once again, can't say enough about them. And so it was that will run on Muddy River News this week over the weekend. That full of that. Steve Iyer wrote a smaller piece that'll run, and then we'll run the video component on Saturday. So yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. How old is Walter Lewis Fluid Technologies?
54 years.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's good.
That's great.
So Walter Lewis and Kohl's Wholesale yesterday had a meeting. So down in the underground warehouse, because Kohl's, has that. Yeah, they've got warehouses down there. Ever been down there?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Warehouses.
Kind of freaky to me. I feel
it's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's a little freaky, but it's cool.
It's always 55 degrees or whatever, and then you can
Yep.
It's amazing how large the underground warehouses are.
And how far back they go, how far to the east under the city they go.
And far south. Yeah. They go really far south too. It's it's
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, they I was years ago, of course, they had before Kohl's, before the Earhart family and Kohl's owned it, when they were under previous ownership, I believe they had one of the walls collapsed, and there were a couple people in there.
That's
and,
why it's freaky.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But I think they've tried the safety and Make it safe, and they've really done. I have friends who work there too, and they're just like, it is a cool place. And again, you're nice and cool. It's 55 degrees. Yeah. You wear your coat and your jacket to work every day, but it's good.
You always know exactly what
to wear to work. Yeah. There's no
surprises,
no guessing. And speaking of that, it's also cooler in here than it was last week too.
It is lovely in here today.
I'd like to thank Mark's Properties for fixing the air conditioning. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Much better last week when we were here just sweating. We were sweating for lots of reasons, but we were mostly sweating because it was just darn warm in here. So
yeah.
Goodness.
So what else is going on? I feel like so we talk about some good stuff. There's probably some stuff that's not awesome happening, right?
There's been a lot of a lot of not awesome stuff in the last month, and there's been a bit of that. We also are preparing for on Monday. We will have the I think the closing arguments in the ComEd 4 case up in Chicago. And of course, Mike McLean of Quincy's involved in that. So that should wrap up next week, and that's going to be very interesting to see
when you say
what happens there.
That's just
closing arguments. Jury.
Is it just McLean?
There's four people.
It's four guys.
Yeah, it's McLean, John Hooker, former CEO, former lobbyist for ComEd, former ComEd CEO Ann Pramaggiore, and then lobbyist Jay Doherty. And McLean. They're the four people who are on trial, and it's going to be real interesting to see. I don't think all four will end up being found guilty.
You don't think so?
No. But I think at least two people will, and then we'll see what happens, because then we'll do it all again next year when McLean and Mike Madigan are on trial for the racketeering part of this. Yeah. So this is just the bribery part. Next year you get the racketeering. Dang. So yeah,
I wonder if you could bribe your way out of a bribery trial. If you're good enough, you probably
could. Not. I don't think that'd be the way to go. But you never know.
If you're that far deep, you might
you get one juror, I guess, who you can make it happen. But that probably wouldn't work out so well. It wouldn't behoove
them very.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't think so.
You would think that you wouldn't do that anyway to begin with, but
no.
When are we gonna start letting out all the people out of prison that didn't do anything?
Like the pot smokers?
Yeah, that's coming. I mean, that's been happening, right?
That needs to happen right now.
Yeah, the people.
Like the same day that you make weed legal in Illinois.
Yeah.
Right.
That should you can
agree.
You can make the argument that that should have been done in one fell swoop. That should have been they say, oh, so tomorrow weed is legal.
Yeah.
And then also all those people that we put in jail for having,
what about
God's flower.
The devil's lettuce.
Yesterday, yeah.
God's flower is the same thing.
It just goes to show you it's good for everybody, right? It's good for both ends of the spectrum. Not kids, but
what is? Weed?
Yeah. It's better for you than booze.
Is it?
That's not a fact. I think it might be a fact.
Google
it. But as far as
I'm happy with my booze. I don't need the other stuff.
You don't need hallucinogens?
Well,
no, I don't.
Okay, so I do have one qualifier question. So what if there's someone in jail who's guilty of distributing marijuana to school age kids, younger than?
Well, yeah, that's illegal.
That's just.
Okay.
I mean,
he's staying in jail.
Yeah,
okay. He's not getting out. No.
Now, how much time do you think it's going to take, all of these lawyers and whatnot to go through appeals processes? And do you think that that's going to be? Do you think people are going to stay in jail just because lawyers don't want to take it on?
No, I think this is my opinion, not knowing enough about the judicial system, but I think they're letting them stay in jail because the political will to correct a humongous mistake isn't there. That's my that's my opinion.
And also, court just moves so slowly. It's just ridiculous. And they're understaffed. I understand that, but with the process of everything, it just moves. It's all just moves so friggin' slow.
Everything government, anything political, anything government based, moves so slow.
Yeah, you can't get. You can't get anything done in a timely manner, and it just because it gets bogged down, and nobody can agree on the color of the sky and things like that. Now, in some cases, we're getting fast track, like the murder case that we were talking about earlier. That's getting fast track because the suspect is being held without bond, so he has to have his trial within 90 days. So that's getting fast tracked, but not everything gets fast tracked. So it's. yeah, it just everything just is so slow, and you go and it's like you'll show up for something and then they'll say, okay, we're not ready. Okay, let's push it back a month, and it's like a month. Why don't you push back a week?
Yeah.
And I know the public defenders are slammed. I know the state's attorneys are slammed. The judges are even slammed. They can't find court reporters, and
really
just hire some people.
Yeah. How much does court reporting make?
$80,000
a year, and they just have to learn like shorthand and all that stuff, or type, whatever.
Well, they got to type on that special machine.
It's not. Still?
Yeah.
I feel like they need to up the technology on that. They would broaden their employment pool a little bit, I think.
Well, or they could be eliminated if you just use voice tracking. And
there you go.
Don't want to say that. The court reporters do work very hard here, and it is important. But I don't think that'll ever happen. But why wouldn't you just take the voice?
I want AI to take all the jobs.
Well, no, I use the Otter when I record in court, and that's the app, and it spits out. It gives me the text and it gives me the audio, and
you know what's funny?
I take all the notes.
I just made it was just a real weird realization today. So I use ChatGPT for my day job, and it asked you to verify you're human, and I just thought that was so funny that an AI software is like, make sure you're human, click here. I just thought that was very
this AI thing has been in the news.
Would you like to play a game?
No.
Yeah, what's that? 80s?
It's a 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh no, it was.
Or is that War Games?
That was War Games.
Okay, War
Matthew
Games.
Broderick.
Okay, yeah. So it was Hal. Hal was talking to Dave, right?
Hal was talking to Dave.
I don't think so, Dave, or whatever it was.
So, Dave.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, I'm getting my monster computers
even that's creeping
confused.
me out. I don't even know what the hell you guys are
Dave.
talking about.
Yeah, have you ever seen 2001: Space Odyssey?
No. Is it kind of like this Megan movie, Megan, whatever it is, that like AI thing that was created to keep that little girlfriend company? It's kind of like that.
Well, this was 2001: A Space Odyssey, made back in 1969. Of course, in 1969, we all thought we'd have flying cars by now.
So it's a little cheesier, I'm sure, but it would probably still freak me out.
Oh, it would.
Yeah.
Oh, it's super scary.
Yeah.
Well, it's Kubrick.
Stanley
Kubrick.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
like he directed
Clockwork Orange
and The Shining.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's super scary. But the AI thing is a really big deal. It's a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
It gets a lot of news and a lot of press. What do you think? Did you hear about the so-called AI machine that has become sentient? Have you heard about this?
I have, but again, it freaks me out too much to even dig so much down into that rabbit hole because,
there are people saying that we should stop.
I think I kind of agree.
We should stop it and halt it.
I don't really like it.
Well, so there are people saying that we should stop it right now, which isn't going to happen.
There's too many big players
in there. It takes 10 years to get the regulation on this. There's these ideas where, remember when, I'm saying you remember when, but I mean, in the history books, it says that people wanted seatbelts, and then the people saying that we should have seatbelts, they're like, it's the same thing as now. We don't need no damn seatbelts.
Yeah. You can't tell me it's my life.
Strap myself into my own car. Okay, so there's that ancient, that very old debate. But it took 10 years from the time that everybody agreed we needed seatbelts to the time that seatbelt regulation actually became minted.
Goes back to how slow everything moves.
So this idea of getting AI regulation, it's not going to happen. But
then you're going to have the robot who rips off somebody's arm because he thinks they have the same strength that he does.
Hey, I saw Ultron.
Yeah.
I've seen Ultron 100 times.
Ultron?
Yeah, Avengers, Age of Ultron, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what.
Oh, yeah. It's Tony Stark creates Ultron to be a peacekeeping.
Ultron or Voltron?
Ultron. Ultron.
Ultron. Ultron. I feel like that's
Ultron's a video game, I think. Isn't it? Or maybe it's a Transformer. I don't know. Voltron? Anyway, but Ultron is the program that Tony Stark creates to be a peacekeeping program that will replace the Avengers, so the Avengers don't have to be the Avengers, and he ends up becoming mad and tries to destroy the world.
And that's in the Avengers?
Yeah, that's the second Avengers movie.
Okay.
So
even that freaky robot that like crawls around that kind of looks like a dog.
Boston Dynamics,
which I have reached out to that company so many times because I really want them to bring that damn dog to our company because we deal heavily in automation, and I just thought it would be really neat to see something like that.
Does a Roomba bother you?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Because I can stomp on it, Now, if it were walking around like, Miss Ashley, I see you left your something, I would be a little more freaked out just because it's like, okay, you're using intelligence that...
Well, the second that thing learns how to climb your bed.
Yeah,
and get on top
that thing's getting exploded real hard.
Like that.
Yeah.
Throw it against the wall.
Do you have a Roomba?
No.
Do you, Bob?
No.
No, because
Do you want one?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't want. No.
I got a Dyson.
I
You guys
can
have an
vacuum.
Alexa in your house? Do you have an Alexa or a? What are those things where you?
No, we
have-
kind of talked about
or an
that.
Apple.
Apple. We have an Apple Box or Apple Echo or
Mine
whatever it's
disconnected
called.
and I couldn't get it reconnected, so I
What's-
just say screw it. My brother-in-law has his whole house connected on things where he's like, Alexa, turn on this, and it kind of even that.
I have
alone
friends who
kinda
have
freaks
that, and
me
it's
out,
like turn the
but-
oven on to 425, and I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah, we can.
What if it decides to go to like 825 and burn your house down?
Well, there's also the
It's too cold in here, Dave.
yeah, the opposite side. I haven't seen you in a while. I went ahead and turned your heat off in the dead of winter, and then you're like, oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Should you really put that pizza in the oven, Bob?
I don't think you need a pizza. Okay.
Yeah, when they
There's
start
one with
cooking.
cauliflower. The freezer tells me there's one with cauliflower crust in there. You should have that one.
Eat some broccoli instead.
Oh, by the way, if you guys ever serve me a pizza with cauliflower crust, don't
you ever
tell-
had it?
Don't
You ever
tell
had
me.
it?
Okay.
Oh my god, so
Just
good.
don't tell
It's
me.
not
Okay.
bad.
It's delicious.
Right, but don't tell
But
me.
it's not the same.
delicious.
It's passable. If I'm a guest at somebody's house, I'm not going to go, ooh, gross. I'll eat it, but it's still not the same thing.
Papo's
Right.
had the
It's
most
not.
delicious cauliflower crust pizza ever, and my daughter, who can't have gluten because she has an intolerance, loved it. And now she can't find another one that tastes like it. So, unless Papo's comes back,
Do they have frozen cauliflower
have
pizzas
frozen, but
in
you
the
can
section?
definitely,
Think so.
yeah, it's definitely not the same.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. For sure they do.
They do.
But my point is, don't tell me what the crust is made of when you're serving it to me.
Hmm.
Just let me eat it. Also, don't tell me what's in Made Right. Don't tell me what's in the pork sausage.
The Chicago style hot dog. I'm
Don't
gonna
tell me
no,
what's in
I don't want
Nathan's
to.
hot dog.
Yeah, I don't want to know what's
Don't
on a
tell
hot dog. I just want to eat the hot dog.
And Brittany and
Yeah.
I were talking about that today at the food show, and she was talking about some dye, and I was like, "Well, what's that?" And she was like, "Everything." I'm like, "Yeah, I wish I could go organic because I know that it's probably healthy and it make my kids feel healthier and blah blah blah." But it is so, it's almost impossible to know.
Expensive?
Yeah, it's expensive. But even walking into Hy-Vee, how do I know that this organic thing that cost me 4 times as much is really organic? Because I read this interesting study the other day. Well, it was actually just kind of fact sheet. But a lot of the natural, like the smaller mom and pop, like organic companies, let's say Tom's when it started, like the toothpaste has been bought out by SC Johnson. And now they're using all of their ingredients in Tom's, but they're still marketing it as organic. So it's impossible to tell what is actually organic or doesn't have this certain thing or this certain thing. So yeah,
Tom's got bought out? Mm-hmm. Really?
yep. There was also another one. Native got bought out by SC Johnson. It was like a shampoo and conditioner thing. So there's just a lot of questions out there. So then I was going to ask a question. Are you guys in the camp of life is too short, indulge? Or are you in the camp of let's do all we can to be the healthiest we can be?
Let me think about that.
Bob, I already know your answer. After your woe committee last night or whatever you called it.
Yeah,
but-
our housing authority,
Which
our
is
homeowners
hilarious.
association group met last night. And yeah, it's like, no, I'm c'est la vie. I'm go for it.
Yeah, you're like, you know what?
You know what? Yeah.
God's
we're all
gonna take
we're all
me somehow.
comets, and we're all going to burn out
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. And yeah, I mean,
What about you? You're relatively healthy,
I
right?
go back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, it goes anyway. I can't really talk too much about it because it brings up all of these terrible nightmares of things that my wife has said to me as I'm getting out of the shower and how I'm not doing what's necessary. Yeah. She'll say things like, and I think I've told you this before in the green room before, but my wife one time, Rachel Giesing, everybody, she'll
love
say
you,
something
Rachel.
like, yeah, she's great. She'll say things like, and I'm going to paraphrase because she said it much harsher
Okay.
than this.
I know
but
how
she's
women
like,
say things, yeah.
honey, I'm getting out of the shower, I'm putting a towel on, and she says, honey, I don't mind being married to an older man, and because I'm
What's your age difference?
almost 12 years.
Whoa.
Well, it should have been. I mean, it should be like half plus 7 is the goal for every man. But I did 12 years. It's fine.
there's a goal.
Half
Half your age plus 7. 100%.
Ew.
Half your age plus 7.
I wouldn't
How
even.
did you come up with that?
I don't even figure age into the calculus. It's like I
Oh.
found somebody I fell in love with, and that's who I married, and she's a year younger than
Yeah,
me,
you don't
but
have to.
it doesn't matter.
When you're thinking about your spouse, you don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to
It's
sit there and
just-
go.
No. You don't even have to look. You don't have to see if you value them for their spirit.
Is
you don't
it
even
for
know-
like
you don't even
reproductive
need to-
purposes,
you
or
don't even
where did
need to-
this half plus 7 come from?
So half plus 7.
Or did it come from Frankie's black book? He's like, you know what? I'm going to create this.
I had no experience, no luck with these women. Let's move it down a notch or up a notch.
I would challenge the listener to Google half your age plus 7. It'll come up 500 times.
Okay.
So I get out of the shower.
She says you're old.
And she says, I don't mind, being married to an older man, but what makes you think I want to be married to an old man who's not taking care of himself?
Oh.
And I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
Well, taking care of yourself is, I think, a little bit different.
She didn't say that.
Overindulging.
She didn't say taking care of yourself. I'm using a euphemism.
Yeah. Because you don't want to offend.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, I got it.
And I don't want to offend my wife, who's if she's listening.
She's probably like this. Oh my God!
I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Ship sail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no. By the way, so there's this. I make this joke sometimes about making sure that young kings know the right move to do as they're getting older, because there isn't really anything out there for boys. So any of you guys, so Bob, you raised some boys.
2.
You've got all girls.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're raising young boys today, when you go to Netflix or Amazon Prime, or you go to all of these different places, there are, generally speaking, I'm saying generally speaking, there isn't anything for boys. There isn't.
What do you mean?
There isn't anything for boys.
Clarify.
Okay, so
resources,
if you were
entertainment,
if you go to Netflix for kids, you go to the kids thing.
Okay.
If they have anything like race cars, it will be a neutral gender race car thing that like girls can enjoy. Now, if you're looking for something
I'm gonna have
for
to do
boys,
some research on this.
not going to find it. It is very difficult to find programming for boys.
Maybe that's your algorithm.
No.
They're everywhere. I think
let me back
it's
up.
like endless, right?
Let me back up.
Yeah.
Do you remember take a look at any sitcom, okay?
Oh my God, I watched Married with Children this morning, which talk about offensive.
The women are smart and put together, and the men are dumb. Okay? That is the general thing for sitcoms, okay? The women are beautiful and put together, and the men are either ugly and dumb or really good looking and dumb in the case of Friends. You've got, so for example, like Phoebe was dumb.
I think there used to be a pretty
and Joey
good balance.
was dumb, right? It was pretty even there.
Yeah, I think there was a pretty good balance.
Friends was a very evenly distributed sitcom for the most part, I think. But if you take a look at almost all the sitcoms, it's and new movies like Disney movies. My kids and I
Disney
have walked
movies
out
are
of
a
Disney
little
movies.
different. I feel like between Netflix shows, and maybe we've talked about this a little bit, but it goes back to the wokeness. Every show has some kind of underlying agenda. So it used to be like I just brought up Married with Children. If you were to watch that show today, if woke people were to watch that show today, they would be like, oh my God, I'm just so offended. I can't believe the stereotypes that are happening here. But it used to be you would talk about economical issues like Roseanne, right? They were always talking about how hard it was to have and keep a job, how hard it was to raise a family, the trials and tribulations of having young kids and living in a small town. And that's the kind of stuff that I think really resonated with people as a whole, because everybody was experiencing kind of the same thing, right? And it wasn't so much focused on, well, Roseanne was a working woman, and I feel like they were both kind of on even playing field as far as intelligence and stuff like that. I mean, granted, the woman was still kind of in charge. Even with Married with Children, Peg Bundy, who is a stay-at-home mom and who doesn't really do anything but sit on the couch and eat bonbons, smoke cigarettes, and watch TV, she still kind of wore the pants at the end of the day. And I think that maybe is a little different. But as far as like today's sitcoms are just different, shows in general are different because there's some kind of underlying agenda, it seems, and it's not all economical. It's more socio. Does that make sense? So it's kind of shifted so that you can't, if you don't identify with something, you're not going to like a show. Whereas before, everyone identified with this show because everything was relatable. And now it's like shows aren't made to be relatable anymore. They're made to kind of prove a point or divide.
Yeah, and I don't really. Do you watch a lot of sitcoms?
Not anymore, no.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love watching.
Love them.
I mean, my number one go-tos were Cheers, Seinfeld, things
Sure.
like that. I mean, those were just, if that was on.
Yeah.
And I do have to admit, when I was a young child, and I don't know if this is emasculating myself or not, but I did like the Golden Girls. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they're
Whatever,
funny as hell.
amazing.
It was a great show.
It was great.
Well,
Great show.
See,
Yeah.
and they ran the gamut between
I don't know why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
the intelligent one, the dumb one, the old one, the hooey,
What?
Yeah.
the hooey, the more frisky one.
Oh,
say.
Oh,
okay.
Blanche?
Blanche.
Yeah,
yes.
everybody
Okay.
knows Blanche. But you had a bunch of women, and this was kind of before the times of, they were divorced or widowers. And is it widowers?
Widows.
Widows.
Widows are women.
Widowers
Widows are men, yeah.
Okay. They were widows, and they were all living together and experiencing all of these, like, almost dramatic things happening. But it was still relatable to everybody.
Sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was just so funny. What was her? Estelle Getty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe that, what was her name?
She was the youngest one.
I was going to say, she was the youngest
the one
one.
who played the mom.
Yeah.
The oldest, I can't remember her name.
Was it B. Arthur or Betty
Arthur.
White?
B. Arthur was the
Dorothy.
oldest. Dorothy. Yeah,
She was oldest?
She was the oldest, and she looked almost the youngest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I saw this, the latest Sex and the City movie that came out recently. I
Never
guess.
seen it.
So Sex and the City, those gals, Sarah Jessica Parker et al. Those, four women from Kim Cattrall, right? I don't know all their names,
I don't
but
either.
I know Sarah Jessica
Charlotte.
Parker's.
That's the only one I
Charlotte,
know.
yeah. Right. Anyway, those four women were the same age as the Golden Girls when the Golden
Get out.
same age.
When they started the show?
Yeah, within a year or two. Yes, same
Holy
age.
cow.
So yes.
See, I
So,
love these kind of little facts.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a little
awesome.
factoid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true. So I did fact check that. I'm like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
And I went down
I
the rabbit
believe
hole
it.
on it. So what they did was, back in the was Golden Girls pretty much 80s, right?
90s, 80s,
Late
90s.
80s, early
80s,
90s.
90s. 80s, 90s, yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely in 89, 90, 91.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Right, for sure, because I would watch it when I came home from school. But amongst other more manly things,
Well, it's
like GoBots.
Gilligan's
Price-
Island
Price
was
is
on
Right.
when I came
Did
after
you
home
know
after
that
school.
Gilligan's Island only ran for 3 seasons?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
3 seasons?
3
Yeah.
seasons.
And it was always on WGEM like at 4 o'clock, so I'd get home from school and I'd watch
Yeah.
that. Like that and Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
Talk about politically incorrect show now.
Right?
Hogan's Heroes?
yeah.
All of 'em.
Shoot, you can barely mention like Nazis and stuff
Right.
now. It's
Right.
like, but then they were just like, it was hilarious.
What about Price is Right? I know that everybody kind of grew up with that, especially on your sick days and whatever. Have you seen it recently?
No.
Is Drew Carey still
Don't.
hosting?
Yeah, but there's like 4 people in the audience. It's such a sad, sad display, almost worse than walking through the Quincy Mall anymore.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
nobody in the audience?
No.
Why?
I am guessing it since like COVID, pandemic type stuff, and they just haven't gone back because I'm sure that they still, I don't know how they're getting their viewership because I can't watch it and it's just very sad. It's
No,
like,
I've
and
watched
the,
it
the
forever.
set is cheesier almost, like it's just very almost plastic. And then you look around the audience and they have like 2 people sitting here, 2 people sitting over here. It's very,
Because of COVID measures? you
I
think?
would assume that that's when it started.
That's super strange, and they
and
never
they
went
just
back.
never went back.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah,
You have to check it out. I hate to even recommend it because I'm like, God. And I love Drew Carey.
Yeah.
What about another show?
Yeah, his show was good.
Whose show is good too?
Yeah,
Cleveland Rocks.
but I really liked The Price is Right when Bob Barker was the host. It was
Who
fun to
wouldn't?
watch.
Had the beauties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk about not politically correct on
Diane
there
Parkinson.
either. Like they,
yeah.
you
I had Diane Parkinson's issue of Playboy. Yes.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
see,
really.
Yeah.
see, that's what not that I want women to be like, what is it, objectified, but I do like when men notice, the greatness of women. I don't know what that makes me. I'm not a feminist. I do love having my door held for me, and
You're an old school feminist.
I?
Yeah. But you're
I
not
don't
used-
ever want to be held back by anything because I'm a
wouldn't-
woman, but I do like to have the privilege of being a woman. Does that? I
You
can't.
wouldn't
That makes
punch
sense.
Yeah.
somebody for opening up a door for you. Like you wouldn't be mad about that if someone.
No.
Oh my God! If they don't open the door, I'm like,
Right.
excuse me,
Right. Hello.
lady in your presence here.
Chivalry.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Yeah. I always try to.
That's understandable.
Always.
I know. Yeah. And not that I need somebody to like pay for my dinner or whatever, but it's a nice gesture both ways. But I think chivalry is
Should
very
men
nice.
always pay for dinner?
No.
On the first date?
No.
No.
Not now. Back then, yes. Not now. No.
No, I do think it's very charming if they,
I'm going to teach my son no dinner until she earns it.
Shut
Ew.
up.
Ew, Frankie.
Paper, rock, scissors for dinner.
I know you're kidding, but no, I don't think a man has to pay for it. I think that if he pays for it under the guise of he's getting something later, that's a problem. But
yeah,
first of all,
it's charming for him to kind of demand that he takes.
I need all of our sensitive listeners to leave the room because I'm going to say something.
Cone of silence.
I'm going to get into it. Ready? You got 2 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
Mute it. Right. All men pay for sex every single time. It does 100%. Not matter. 100%. They're all doing it all 100%. The time. It doesn't matter.
It goes back to women wearing the pants.
Yeah. Every single thing that you do, every single thing a man does, he's paying for sex.
I believe it. And
all the way across the board.
And this is why I don't think that, and again, sensitive listeners like feminists who are like super extreme, you should go ahead and realize that we wear the pants anyway. It's fine. We don't have to wear the label. It's even better if we just do it inconspicuously because then it gives men the impression that they're ruling the world while women are really out here like this. Okay, here's what you should do.
Yeah, I mean,
does that make sense? I'm not trying to be like a total dick. I'm just saying like if we're being real, which I think we try to be out here. And it's because we both have different abilities and that should always be they both should be celebrated.
We all have strengths and weaknesses. Yes. We all have things that make a good team, and you need a good. You do need. I know diversity is a bad word for a lot of people, but you need it. You really do. You can't have. Again, when we started this and had just a bunch of old middle-aged white guys, it's like we need to actually have some females here to work as well and to be partners and to help us with do the thing. Yeah. It's absolutely needed.
Yeah. It is. It's a necessity. But, I mean, I don't remember where we were going, but I think as far as being, you feel like you're offended by TV shows, you feel like everywhere you go, you feel like you either have to be offended or defending things, right? It's like, who has time for that? I don't have time for that.
No, it's people... We talked about this last week too. People worry way too much about things that not only aren't in their control, but really have no impact in their lives if they even looked away. But they caught their attention span on a social media feed, so they decide to be offended. Yeah. And it's like,
I think it's like everybody just wants to be right anymore. It's not even that you're offended.
Everybody wants to be outraged. Everybody wants, everybody just wants to be pissed off about something. Yeah. And it's like, just settle down. I mean, there's no big deal.
There's more of a dopamine hit when you're outraged. Like when you're calm and peaceful. Well, you get a big dopamine hit from being pissed. Yeah. I mean,
what about from being right? I want to know if that's a bigger dopamine hit than being outraged.
I don't.
Honestly, because I'm telling you right now, when you guys said I was right about the April thing, I was like, psh.
April the giraffe.
Yesterday I was upset about something and I was pissed, and it was just like I just let it go, and it took me until I woke up this morning to be over it actually, and then I was like,
did you immediately want to get up and run laps or what was your?
No, I'm just like, okay, it's not that big a deal.
Good.
I'm
just
fine.
Let it roll.
Yeah, would get my coffee and then went back to work.
I'm sorry, but your wife was right.
That wasn't my wife. Things are great there. That wasn't the issue at all. I mean, but no, this was a work thing. It was just like.
Work sucks sometimes.
Yeah. But this has been we're fast approaching our second birthday here at Muddy River News. And it's really been.
What are we going to do? Take a trip?
Amazing. No, we're not taking a trip. It's really been an amazing experience in these 2 years. And actually, Matt and David were in here today and we were just talking. It's like, boy, it just seems like been around forever. And I was like, well, it's because we've been around forever and we've all worked together in different capacities in different places, but we've all, we just have this familiarity. And then, having, with Randy and Brittany, and then you guys are more newcomers, but still, I mean, we've all got this, it just it's comfortable and it works and it's going in the right direction.
It's very stable as far as a workplace. I feel like we all talk about balance. I feel like we all just kind of balance each other out, and it's really nice. And I keep getting regular comments and compliments about Muddy River News that I try to pass on, but
no, I guess I mean, a lot of people are. I mean, I was at a thing Sunday, and I had multiple people come up who I hadn't seen in a while. Like, you do a great job, keep up the good work. I'm like, thanks. And then I have people who send me emails after we talk about priests and yell at me. So
That's
fine too.
That's my bad.
But it's the, hey, I'm the captain of the ship, so I'm the one that takes that and just says okay and responds and says sorry and we move on. And we had a mistake in a story yesterday and we fixed that. And it's like, I accept that responsibility, but it's all part of the team, and we all learn from it. We all work together. We all improve to get better. And we always try to get better every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the thing.
I gave a speech last week at the Elks Club.
Oh yeah.
How'd that go?
Exchange Club. Yeah.
Exchange Club.
Yeah. How'd
Exchange.
that go?
Well, really well. 7 people told me that they like the Club Muddy podcast.
Yeah.
7 people.
That's
7.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's a good number.
I mean, everybody at the Elks is like very.
But you weren't talking about that. You were talking about your 6th Street
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about 6th Street.
But then they all just said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we like that."
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They say that they like that podcast. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
I mean, like when the first 1 or 2 people say it, I'm like, okay, good. And that keeps on coming.
Talk about a
I'm like,
dopamine
oh,
hit.
jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and again, like I said, the next, the 29th, 30th, that's kind of our, okay, the LLC was officially born on March 17th. So St. Patrick's Day is like the official when we went in the books, but we flipped the switch on the 29th and told everybody about it on April 30th. So it's like the next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
again,
We're
we'll
gonna have to have a birthday party.
We're gonna have to
We'll do something for the
Yeah.
staff. I mean, we'll do something that everybody kind of get together. So,
Yeah, cool.
But
Sweetest.
On
Well,
that-
we're going paintballing, so we can.
you guys are doing that, and then I'm getting dunked, and I have to do some
You
stuff on
do?
that.
Where?
April 30th, I'm getting a dunk tank, so I'm there. So yeah, I've got to.
I can't throw, but I'm
set notes
I'm
to
about
everybody
go
and
try.
let them all take shots at me. So I'll start promoting that next week. So
I need to
deal.
go
good time.
practice
So
my arm.
all right, that's all the time we have for today.
It's nice talking to you guys.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.